So I decided that I think I'm going to do a whole playlist with an entire marketing course, an entire course with every single topic, not necessarily related to any particular book. So I'm talking topics, I'm not talking chapters. But for all of you who are marketing students, for all of you who are going to be marketing students, and for all of you who have been marketing students and you want a refresher, well, here it is, and I hope that this is going to be a good one for you. One thing that I wanted to mention, I'm probably going to have to mention this on every video, sorry, because, you know, for the people who don't know me, and I hope that people who don't know me actually begin to watch these videos. So I have been doing product development and sourcing for the past 18 years, and I've also been teaching as an adjunct for 14 years straight. So I think I have the credentials for this. I've taught marketing at least, without exaggeration, probably like maybe 120, 125 times at this point, both at the undergrad as well as the grad level MBA, executive MBA. That being said, yes, the very first topic is the 4 P's of marketing. So this basically is fairly straightforward, but it's really important that you kind of have a good understanding of this good baseline. So product, price, place, promotion. In terms of product, the first one, and product is, you know, my background and what I do for a living, but in terms of product, this one for now is fairly straightforward. And the way that most textbooks are, where you get each of the 4 P's in a chapter on its own, I'm probably going to do that too. In terms of the 4 P's of marketing as it relates to product, this of course is product, not just tangible product, however, also services. So just keep that in mind. So when you talk about product, of course it can be tangible stuff like iPhones, like cars, like bed sheets, like whatever, but also remember services as well. You know, restaurants, for example, Uber, for example, and then also remember at the same time that a lot of service industries also have a product component. Not everybody tells you that, but there are service industries where, you know, part of it is product, even if more of it is service, and vice versa. When I do a chapter on that, I'll get into that a little bit more. So that's really the first of the 4 P's of marketing. It's fairly straightforward. The second P, price, these aren't necessarily in any order, but the second P, price has to do with, of course, not only how much you're going to charge someone, but the pricing strategy that you decide. So what are pricing strategies? Well, once upon a time, even though we've had this for a long time now, once upon a time, the whole idea of leasing a car as opposed to having to buy it, you know, first you had to, the only option you had was to buy a car, whether you paid cash for it or whether you financed it, you were purchasing a car. Then, of course, leases came around. Now, leases, you know, have a lot of advantages to them for the companies, but leases are another pricing strategy. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. Tiered pricing is another pricing strategy. When you look at Amazon Prime and how that works in terms of a pricing strategy, I'll actually do a separate video just on Amazon Prime because it's a pretty cool concept on how Amazon Prime works in terms of, you know, a subscription business put together in a, you know, in a retail format. And now, of course, Amazon Prime is doing that and has been doing that for a long, long time. You've got companies like Microsoft and Apple. Once upon a time, their operating systems, they used to charge you for this. When Microsoft came out with a new version of Windows, I remember, I'm old enough to remember, it was kind of expensive. It was like, I don't know, somewhere between $200 and $300 if you wanted to do an upgrade to your existing computer, assuming that your existing computer had enough of, you know, the tech specs to handle the new OS. And Apple used to do the same thing with their operating system. Each time they had a significant new update, they basically, you know, they would charge you for it. Now, of course, all of these operating system upgrades are completely free. Why? Because the revenue is being generated someplace else. So these are also examples of pricing strategies. And again, when I get into the entire chapter on pricing, I'll get into that a little bit more. So then we've got place. Now this, and for those of you who've had me for marketing, you know that I always say that this is probably one of the dumbest words for the 4 P's of marketing, the place, or what's really called the distribution. So I prefer you to consider this the distribution P. I guess, you know, the 4 P's of marketing, you know, is a little bit more marketing-esque. But the place P is really the distribution P. So if you go to any CEO in the world and you basically say, hey, what is your place strategy? They're going to be like, what on earth are you talking about? Oh, because I live in the real world, I'm going to tell you that that's not really kind of the way to think about it. If you ask any CEO in the world, hey, what is your distribution strategy? He or she is going to be able to tell you. They're going to understand what that means right off the bat. So this place or distribution P, don't make the common mistake, no offense, that a lot of new marketing students make. They're like, oh, I get this one. Oh, this is where you place particular products in a store, right? Actually, no, it has nothing to do with that. This is distribution. Distribution is a really important topic in marketing, by the way, and it's getting even more important as the world continues to shift to tech and other types of delivery methods. So distribution has to do with, there's an upfront aspect and then there's a sort of like a downstream aspect to this. So distribution is not just about logistics and trucks. That's a little bit of the downstream piece of it. But really the marketing definition of distribution, the upfront definition of distribution, has to do with how the product or service that your customer is going to ultimately get, how do they receive that? How do they consume that? How do they use that? You can use either of those, terms. It depends on what the product is, of course, and how, what the context is. But I'll give you an example right now. So once upon a time, there was this thing called Netflix 1.0, right? And Netflix 1.0 was what? It was a DVD by mail type of business, and by the way, that part of the business still exists. But so we had Netflix 1.0, and this was when this company called Blockbuster, as you may remember, was really rocking and rolling. So what was Blockbuster's distribution strategy? Retail stores. They had thousands, I think maybe around 10,000 of locations all around the country during their heyday. So that was Blockbuster's distribution strategy. DVD by mail, Netflix 1.0, what did they do? They mailed it to you, the DVD, the movie, but that's how you consumed it, that's how you received it. You got the movie in the mail. Now, let's look at, of course we know that Blockbuster no longer exists, but if you look at what I'm just simply calling Netflix 2.0, the current Netflix that we have, so what is the distribution strategy? What is the distribution channel? It's digital, it's through streaming, right? So once upon a time, your favorite movie, whatever your favorite movie is, you would watch that on a DVD that you got from Blockbuster, and you put that physical DVD in a physical DVD player, and you watch that movie. The movie, the product actually, in this case, the movie has not changed one bit. The distribution channel has changed. So now you basically go on your Netflix account, you go on your Amazon, whatever, Prime Video account, and you see the movie, and you just, click a couple buttons, and then you watch that movie on virtually any decent device that has enough hardware capability, and that is really how it's delivered. And the last one is promotion. So this one actually is a little bit tricky sometimes, but for all of you who are new to marketing, when you think about marketing in terms of advertising, public relations, social media, digital media, all of those things live within that one P, the promotion P of marketing. It all lives inside there. So promotion is all about how are you going to promote your products, right? So whether it's a brand new product that's just hit the market in a brand new company, you have to get product awareness. If it is a brand new, well, you also have to get brand awareness in that case. If it's an existing brand but a brand new product, you need product awareness. If it's a product that's been around for some time, there's various types of advertising strategies that go along with that. Do you want to basically you rejuvenate the product line? Do you want to run an ad campaign for short-term sales? Whatever. That's getting more into the advertising stuff, which I'm not going to get into right now. But that is really what the promotion P is about. Now discounting is interesting because discounting is one of those that literally falls in both the promotion as well as the price strategy. That one is a little bit of a, it depends, as well as it falls into both. So that's a little bit about the promotion strategy. Like I said, I'm going to put together the entire course on YouTube, but hopefully this was a decent beginning to what the 4 P's of marketing are, and what a typical marketing class is going to look like pretty much anywhere that you would take it in, almost literally any college.